right, good morning, everyone. We are here on Monday, August the 4th. It is 10:02 in the morning. Looks like we've got about 36 people online, so we've got a good number that have already showed up. I just want to let you know right quick that the meeting is being recorded, and we'll be able to share that recording and the slides from the presentations afterwards. It'll be distributed to the distro list that Prit has at the ready. So want to also welcome Shelley Hornbuckle to the meeting today. She is going to be replacing Jerry Watson and assisting us with everything with our board meetings moving forward. So thank you, Shelley, for helping us out here at the district and on the board. So welcome. Today on our meetings, our presentations, we have the COG's Environment and Development Department and the Transportation Department here to speak to us. Both of these have initiatives that support local economic development from cities, counties, and even education. So as always, would like to remind everyone that any guest speakers that we do have in their presentations always tie back to one or more of our goals in the CEDDs. So these will be addressing some of those strategies that we have in there. For any guests that are joining the meeting that are not board members, we encourage you to use the chat feature if you have any questions or comments. And then Shelley, new on board, again, thanks for being here. We'll be monitoring that chat session for us. Board attendance is not necessarily needed because everything is recorded through Zoom, so we won't need to take roll call. So everyone, I believe, is here now. We've got a total of 41 on board now. So we're going to go ahead and approve the May 5th or review the May 5th meetings. Hopefully we approve them. So I hope everyone's had a chance to look at those and review them, and we want to see if anybody had any questions on those before we move forward. If not, then I'll entertain a motion to accept.
I move to accept.
Okay, thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? I think you can raise a hand there.
Yeah.
And then are there any nays? Looks like we've got a consensus there, so we'll move on to our next item, which is always the best part of our meeting, and that's our presentations. So first one that we will be doing and hearing from will be from Jocelyn Billings, our director of the COG's Environment and Development Department. And then we'll be hearing from Krista with transportation. So Jocelyn, I'm going to turn it over to you and we'll let you share with us what you have today.
Yeah, great. Let me share my presentation real quick. Okay, great. Yeah, hi everybody. My name is Jocelyn Billings. I'm an air quality planner on the Alternative Fuels and Energy team here in the Transportation Department of the North Central Texas Council of Governments. And today I'm going to be sharing some details on our recently opened North Texas Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Call for Projects. So back in 2024, the North Central Texas Council of Governments was awarded $15 million from the Federal Highway Administration through the Charging and Fueling Infrastructure Community Program to build up to 100 publicly accessible electric vehicle charging ports within the 16-county NCTCOG region on public property. A big focus of this project is filling gaps within the region and providing access to charging to residents of the region as well as visitors driving through. As part of this project, we have procured a consultant to serve as our deployment dream team, who will assist us, our public agency partners, vendors, utilities, all throughout the application and implementation process. It's worth noting that while we have a little over 14 million of that 15 million currently obligated and ready to go, that last million is still pending obligation by the Federal Highway Administration, and those funds are set aside for Erath, Palo Pinto, and Somerville counties. But we're definitely still encouraging public agencies in those areas to apply. We're meeting with Federal Highways regularly, and we're very optimistic that those funds will be approved and available for use here soon. So in order to select the locations on which these EV charging stations will be built, we have opened the North Texas Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Call for Projects. Eligible projects for this include level 2 and direct current fast chargers, or a mixture of the two, as long as they are located on public sector property within the 16-county NCTCOG region. These stations must meet relevant federal standards, including being accessible to the public, meeting minimum power ratings, which are different for level 2 and DC fast, being able to charge at least 4 vehicles simultaneously, and they must remain operational for at least 5 years. NCTCOG will be conducting the EV charging station vendor procurement on behalf of the public agency partners to make sure that they meet all of these technical requirements. And just want to say that any public agencies that want to apply, there is no limit on the amount of potential charging station locations you can submit. So eligible entities for this include all public agencies, so cities, counties, other local governments, transit agencies, school districts, and public universities and colleges. We've been doing a lot of public outreach, and we've received interest in locations such as sports complexes, local attractions or tourist areas, downtown areas, transit stations, parks, and more, which these are all locations where people will come to charge and then leave and do other stuff on the site and then come back to their car. So we see a lot of potential for economic development at a lot of these sites. As part of the call for projects, we'll also be taking into account the focus areas set by the Federal Highway Administration, which include non-single family areas, multimodal hubs, areas that can serve fleets that operate in the community, as well as rural areas. NCTCOG will be providing up to 80% of the initial capital costs of the deployment, as well as up to 20% of the operations and maintenance costs over the 5-year operation period. And the remaining percent of both of those categories is expected to come from the EV charging station vendor that is procured. So public agencies should put in very minimal funds for this, if any. Again, as part of this project, we have procured a deployment dream team, Kimley Horn and Associates, to assist with the project, beginning in the application all the way throughout implementation. So they are available to assist public agencies wanting to apply at no cost to the agency. They can provide one-on-one support and do desktop reviews, fatal flaw analysis of as many sites as public agencies would like, and then also do test fits, site visits, and conceptual site plans for a final set of sites. They can also assist with handing in the hard copy of the application to NCTCOG offices on the due date if needed. And then after award, they will still be available to provide assistance throughout the whole implementation phase to any public agencies that are interested. So along with our deployment dream team, we are hosting a series of call for projects application workshops. These will be for public agencies to attend and hear more details about the project, the requirements, for them to ask questions, and for them to get connected with that deployment dream team so they can continue working with them to develop their application if they'd like. Our first one will be next week on August 12th in Lancaster. We'll have a second one next Wednesday in Plano, and then a third one next Thursday in Mesquite. Then we will have a fourth one at our offices here in Arlington the week after that on Thursday, August 21st. This one will be hybrid, and it will also be recorded and posted for anyone who cannot make it to any of these workshops. We're hoping to do maybe 1 or 2 more, so you can visit our website here to see any up-to-date information on these. On this website, nctcog.org/EV charging grant, we also have information about the call for projects guidelines, the application, how to get in contact with that deployment dream team. And we also have a public outreach toolkit for public agencies that want to collect some feedback from their residents about this project. So here is our schedule. We opened this call for projects just a couple of weeks ago on July 25th. We have all of these workshops coming up in the next couple of weeks, and then the call for projects deadline is 5 p.m. on Friday, October 31st, 2025. After that, we'll do all the scoring during November and then bring our recommendations back to all of our transportation and NCTCOG committees in December and January. And with that, I'd be happy to take any questions, or feel free to reach out anytime if you think of anything later.
So I will say, board members, if you have any questions, feel free to unmute and ask those questions. Guests, invite you to use the chat feature for that. So
I do have one quick question. You said at the beginning that there was 15 million, but 14 million had already been set aside, and the last million was only for a couple of different counties. Is that correct?
Well, yes. So we have 14 million obligated for, it's for use for within the 12 counties in this green and Navarro County. So they aren't obligated to any specific agency or anything, not projects, just it's ready to go for those. And then these three are in the Fort Worth rural tip area. So they were filed a little bit later. So they're just held up in the STIP approval process. So we're just waiting to get that final approval.
Okay, that clears it up. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Elena, did you have a question?
Yeah, quick question. The one on the 21st, which is looks like the hybrid one in Arlington. What is the time on that? Okay. 1:30.
And we also have the time for the City of Plano one. It'll also be 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m.
Are all these
details-
recorded or is it in person?
The three in Lancaster, Plano, and Mesquite, they'll just be in person, but the one in Arlington on the 21st will be recorded and posted.
Perfect. Thank you.
Jocelyn, there's a question, how do we get more details on the workshop in Plano? I will be sending an email out to the board and the distro list with more details after the meeting this morning, but maybe you can provide some additional information right now.
Yeah, so if you go to this website, nctcog.org/EV charging grant, you can see the time, the address, and also register for any of the workshops that you'd like to attend. These will be, my team will be coming and providing an overview of EV charging, more specific details on the project and what the requirements are. And then we'll also have the deployment dream team there to walk through all of the really technical engineering stuff that they're gonna be able to help people with. And provide a lot more details on how to fill out the application. So we'll have probably some presentations at the beginning, maybe 30-45 minutes, and then the rest will be more actual workshop where we're asking questions and working with people to start their applications.
And you said the current application and all that information is currently on the COG site?
Yes, it's posted right here on this website.
Excuse me.
Forgive my ignorance on this. When on these workshops, is it kind of telling us how to go about it, or do we need to already be farther along in our own process?
I mean, it's helpful if maybe you have an idea of some locations that are possible, but you don't have to have anything complete, really. We made this over 3 months long, the call for projects opening period, so that way people have time to maybe talk to the dream team and get some locations figured out, and then take it to any committees or boards that they need to take it through. So you don't have to have anything ready to come to these. We're getting this so you can get that head start and meet the deployment dream team, and then they can help you start your application.
Can you please repeat the timeline for the project or go back to that slide?
Yeah, so here it is. So we opened the call for projects on July 25th. So 2 Fridays ago, last Friday.
Okay.
It'll be open for 14 weeks until Halloween, and it closes 5 p.m. that day.
And then once awarded, what is the deadline for implement, or not deadline, but what do you think will be the timeline for implementation? Is it kind of up to the local entity, or is there a period that it will take the COG to put this together?
So the funds, they have no deadline to expend. So there's no hard and fast deadline. We're hoping to get all of the stations built and operational within 1 year of executing the agreement with the public agency. So that'll probably be, once we get them approved, probably sometime in March of next year. So we're hoping to have them all built by March of the next year, but that's not really a hard deadline, if any agencies think they might need more time than that, then that's also okay.
Okay, perfect.
All right, does that have everyone covered?
Do you have an actual location in Plano?
Yes, it's at the Davis Library.
I'm sorry, one more time?
It's at the Davis Library.
Davis Library.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you, everybody, for the questions.
It looks like a great program.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do
Thank
believe
you.
so as well. Thank you, Jocelyn, so much. I appreciate your time with us today and for bringing this to us. So our next speaker is Krista Guzman from the Environment and Development Department, and she's going to be presenting on the Regional Texas Property Assessed Clean Program. So Krista, thank you for being with us today. I'm going to hand it over to you and I'll let you start your presentation.
Yeah, give me 1 second here to get that presentation shared.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Will presentations be sent out after this?
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you
they
so
will.
much.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah, I believe Prit will send those out to the distro list. So if you're on that list, you should receive it by default. So while she's setting that up, I'm sitting here thinking of all the places that we could put one of those charging systems in our parks and public parking spaces. I don't know about y'all, but I've got several in mind in my community. Are you
Yep.
ready, Krista?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay, good deal. I'll turn it back to you then.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Krista Guzman, and I'm a senior planner in the Environment Development Department here at the North Central Texas Council of Governments, and I'll be filling in for my director, Susan Alvarez, this morning. She ended up having a conflict that came up, so you'll get to hear from me today. So I'll be talking about the Commercially Property Assessed Clean Energy, or CPACE program, and some regional updates that we have about that. This is just my agenda at a glance. So what is CPACE? That is a program that was established by the Texas legislature back in 2013 under Senate Bill 385. There's a chapter 399 of the Texas Local Government Energy Code if you're interested in that kind of thing. But it does allow local governments to work with property owners and private sector lenders to help finance energy efficiency and water conservation related projects on their properties. It does provide a low cost and long-term loan to the owners of a commercial, industrial, or multifamily property that has 5 or more dwelling units. And these owners may be eligible to finance up to 100% of the eligible improvements based on a voluntary assessment. So there are about 18 different types of improvement projects that qualify for PACE financing. They must be some type of permanent or fixed improvement to the property. For example, we have a lot of like water related improvements listed out here, but something like a low flow shower head that can be removed. My understanding is that does not qualify. But through this program, you can address high efficiency chillers, boilers. You can work on, the building enclosure envelope to provide improvements to that. You can address wastewater recovery and reuse, or high efficiency irrigation equipment. So definitely a lot that you can do with your property through this program. So a little bit about how PACE funding works is once a project is approved by a PACE administrator, the selected lender provides the upfront financing that the owner pays back over time through through an assessment on that property. The properties are and at the time that they receive the financing for the upgrades, the property is placed under an assessment. And then when the project is complete, voluntary tax assessment on the property itself is used as a vehicle to help pay down that loan. And the long-term financing goes out to up to about 20 years. And it does provide like an affordable mechanism to make these improvements. And since PACE financing is considered a debt of the property, the debt will follow the property rather than the owner if the owner decides to sell that property. So this is just kind of an infographic about how the financing works or and the process works. So, you know, a building owner would find their contractor, select a project to work on, identify a lender, and then apply. And then if the project meets the PACE requirements, then the owner signs the contract with the PACE program, and a senior lien is placed on the property. The lender provides the funding for the improvements. The contractor completes the project improvements, and then the PACE program bills those assessments to the owner and forwards the payments on to the lender. So why does the North Central Texas Council of Government support PACE? It's because the improvements that are financed through these PACE loans allow our commercial and industrial properties to improve their energy efficiency and conserve water, which has a lot of benefits, such as economic benefits to the region, and economic development opportunities that can spur further investment back into communities. It does help improve our regional air quality through the reduced need for electricity generation. It provides enhanced value and efficiency of existing buildings. And there's more tangible and intangible benefits. And so for an economic development district, why this may be of interest to you is you guys can help promote commercial PACE as part of a strategy for business recruitment and retention. The CPACE improvements increase those property values, attracts businesses, and serves to create jobs. And this financing mechanism helps reduce the operating costs for those businesses, helps them achieve sustainability goals they may have, and really enhances the appeal to property owners and business partners. And I have a couple of short case studies that I will share in a moment that drives home these points. Again, key benefits, support sustainability goals, attracting that private investment, encouraging the modernization of aging infrastructure and resiliency, job growth, increased property values, and a strengthened tax roll. So in our region, we have about 8 counties and 17 cities that have already adopted their own PACE programs. And we do have this story map that is available on the Conserve North Texas website where you can explore those cities and counties. And then also, if you would like to look at individual projects that have already been completed around the region, you can explore those by PACE administrator. We have 2 PACE administrators, Texas PACE Authority and Lonestar PACE. So here is a couple of short case studies of how PACE has been utilized around the region. So first we have Melissa Gateway Village. It's a mixed-use center that has really been positioned to help transform the downtown district of this really fast-growing suburb. By obtaining PACE financing, the property owner of the Melissa Gateway Village was able to upgrade the building's HVAC, the lighting, the building envelope, elevator systems, plumbing, and irrigation. And that really helped Collin County advance their sustainability and economic development goals while also reducing demand on the local utilities there. And the improvements are expected to reduce the annual electricity usage by 12% and then the annual water usage by 76%, which is huge. So next is the Meadow Park Tower project. that's in North Dallas. And so this property faced some challenges that many other aging office buildings do, such as a decline in efficiency, functionality, and then eventually occupancy. So the building was built in 1986 and it was renovated back in 2016 with a subsequent renovation that occurred in 2022 of the building's interior and exterior that included installation of sustainable improvements that qualified for PACE financing. The improvements helped to stabilize the occupancy rate of the building at 90%. And these building improvements enabled Dallas County to further their own sustainability and economic development goals while simultaneously reducing demand on the Texas electric grid. So the impact of these improvements to the building envelope, the interior and outdoor lighting, the indoor electrical and HVAC and plumbing, the impact of all these improvements were that they were able to cut the property annual electricity usage by 25%, water usage by 28%, and the natural gas consumption by 72%. And again, the stabilized occupancy rate at 90%. So another example is the RJ Lieb Athletic Lettering Company out in Navarro County. And they were the first manufacturing facility to complete a Texas PACE project or a PACE project here in Texas. Because Navarro County had established a PACE program, this Missouri-based business relocated much of its operations to a formerly vacant sewing plant down in Corsicana. Its 20-year assessment provided a financially viable way to restore that vacant facility and bring in LED lighting and HVAC without interfering with the company's cash flow. The company is saving approximately 187,000 kilowatt hours of electricity annually. And when they reopened this vacant manufacturing facility, it also had the impact of creating approximately like 60 to 80 manufacturing jobs down in Corsicana that weren't there prior to its opening. And so the general manager of the RJ Lieb Athletic Lettering Company explained that as they work with more and more large brands, becoming environmentally friendly is a prerequisite for them to conduct business. And in fact, they're even graded on it. So this was a win for them. And lastly, I think this one is kind of neat. This is a newer one. So that is the Crazy Water Hotel that is out in Palo Pinto County. So this Crazy Water Hotel is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. It has a really fascinating history going back all the way to 1913. So the hotel and everything on the block sadly was consumed by a fire in 1925. But the hotel was rebuilt by a new owner in just 2 years. And and then it's been renovated. And so it's a 7-story hotel that now has 250 rooms. And it was under the Spanish colonial revival design element. So, really unique feel to it. It was unfortunately closed in 1961 for being used as a hotel. It was used for other purposes until it was permanently closed in 2010. And it sat vacant for nearly 11 years. And in 2019, some investors decided to bring it back as a hotel. It was renovated and reopened in 2021. And the rooms have been enlarged and remodeled with modern amenities. As you can imagine, it might need being so old. And the impact that it has provided is that it has brought a lot of, revitalized the downtown. It's brought in some tourism. It was actually recently featured by Texas Monthly in an article back in April, where, locals shared that this hotel has really spurred the revitalization of the downtown. And it has reverberated across, downtown businesses. And they now even see visits from Hollywood film crews. And so it's really a powerful, example of how PACE financing enables property owners to also preserve historic buildings and enhance the energy performance and stimulate economic opportunities. And so, for this project, they did work on, envelope ceiling, being such an older building, and LED lighting, elevator replacement, HVAC replacement, a low flow fixtures. So quite an extensive undertaking with this one. So a little bit about the regional CPACE program. Without a regional program, to apply for CPACE financing, a property owner with eligible projects would need the project to fall within one of those 8 counties or 17 cities that I showed a couple of slides back in the region that have already adopted PACE. So fortunately, in May of this year, the COG Executive Board did approve contracts to support the expansion of commercial PACE throughout the 16-county region. And so what that means is that our regional program will be able to fill the gaps across the region to allow any city or county to be covered under the program to help relieve some of the administrative burden of adopting PACE and then bring these benefits to their constituents. So next steps are the procurement committee had selected two PACE vendors to serve as the PACE administrators. They ended up selecting both Lonestar PACE and Texas PACE Authority. So we will have options for folks to choose from. And right now the program is under development. More details coming soon. We're doing a lot of in-house internals, establishing the program, getting things administratively set up. So more to come on this in the coming months. And we're really excited to be able to share more as this is stood up. This program is stood up. So here's some contacts that in both our Environment and Development Department and the Transportation Department that are working on the CPACE program. This is an interdepartmental effort with our air quality team over in transportation. And with that, that concludes my presentation.
Krista, or Cassandra, can we go ahead and ask a couple questions?
Oh, yes, go ahead. Yeah, you beat me to it. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry about that. Krista, thank you for the presentation. Thank you for the examples also. Is the timeline any better than it used to be? It used to be so onerous that to be fair to my colleagues, this actually prevented a lot of people from from coming in and utilizing the program because it took so long and was so onerous in how you had to implement all of the strategies involved with PACE, to the point where we don't even present it anymore. We used to have it as a main arrow in our quiver, I guess, and now we don't even use it anymore. Has it gotten better over the time?
So that's something that I might need to get back to you on, since we're just kind of getting our regional PACE program up. I'm hoping that it does provide some efficiencies, and also as the program has now been around for a while, I'm hoping that maybe some of the delays are being shortened as people become more familiar with PACE, how it works, and getting a program going or getting projects going.
That's a fair answer. I would encourage you and your team to really look at that piece. In economic development, as you know, it just any delays and anything that takes a long time can actually work against us rather than for us. And so I wanted to make sure before we present it as one of our advantages of being around here, and particularly in our COG and in our district, that we're able to know that it's going to take this amount of time, whatever this is, that is very firm, that it has this, and this, and then it gets done and so forth. I just know that before there are some great examples, and you showed a couple, but for many people that I know, and I'm talking at least half dozen to a dozen, it actually worked against everyone. So wanted to put that there. And that was not going through you guys. So I want to be clear on that, that your involvement may actually help. And that's why I was trying to encourage.
Yeah, no, thank you for pointing that out. yeah, is a pitfall to watch out for.
This is Luis. Jeff, I hope, first of all, I hope that wasn't in Dallas County because we try to get those deals done as quickly as possible through the county level. I did have a question though. Well, first of all, I know the Crazy Water Hotel. It's a fantastic project. Been there a few times. I hope that the Baker Hotel in the same area also applies because, well, it's a great historic property. But I was wondering first, when do you expect to be receiving your first program? You know, when will you be officially open? And secondly, will you be working with, like this is a 16 county region, with all the tax assessors' offices prior to getting going?
Yeah, so there's a lot of legal questions and administrative questions that we're working through at the moment. So we're hoping in the next couple months to have worked through all of those things and be able to start receiving our first applications.
Do you have a timeline on that?
I don't have a firm timeline.
Okay. And my final question is on the types of projects that y'all were looking at. The ones that y'all showed off are like, to me, the dream projects. It's a building that's upgrading its efficiency, you know, getting rid of the old inefficient envelope items, or updating their HVAC, creating some real savings. PACE also allows for look-back projects or development on existing lots. Do you know if the COG will be entertaining those, or if that's a programmatic question that's still to be resolved?
Do you mean like retrofits?
No, I mean like it's a developed lot. They're going to create a new project. There's nothing there. There's no current building, or we have a project. We did it last year. We're going to go refinance.
So I believe that those do, we need to talk to the PACE administrators individually to see what qualifies. I believe that they both do have questionnaires on their websites respectively, where you can put in all the parameters to see if a project qualifies. My understanding is that like greenfield, so you know, a previously undeveloped site is a little bit tricky. You know, you would need to talk to them to see what qualifies there. But in some cases, maybe newer development on an existing, an already developed property may qualify. You just need to work with them.
Sure. Oh, I was just asking about what the COG was willing to do. Whether it qualifies or not, there's, you know, discretion on approving a project. But that's something that'll be worked out. Well, thank you.
And I'll just say really quick from Mineral Wells, yes, the Baker Hotel will also be applying for PACE, the PACE project or PACE funding as well.
Good to hear. Fantastic. Great property. Would love to see that revitalized.
Us too.
Any more questions?
Okay. Anything else? Is Jocelyn still online? Does anyone have any more questions for her before we move on to new business?
Cassandra, I just wanted to add, Jocelyn, we actually had some educational institutions on the call today. So just confirming they can also apply for the EV stations. Is that correct?
As long as they're public, yes. Yeah.
So like your ISDs, colleges, community colleges. Excellent. Okay. So thank you, Jocelyn and Krista, for coming to see us today and presenting these two programs to us. Looks like we've definitely got some interest there. I know for one in particular that we certainly have some projects that might qualify for one or both of these. So definitely piqued some interest. Everyone, again, these presentations will be available to you through the distro. Crit will be sending those out. So all their contact information will be on there and websites, etc. So should something come up, you have questions, you can reach out to them then. I'm going to move on to new business. and go from there. I just wanted to let everyone know that Mary Ann Moon, who has been serving on our board since 2019, is leaving the city of Prosper in September. So that is going to leave her board spot vacant. And unfortunately, we do not have one elsewhere that would fit to allow her to switch roles. So I just wanted to send out a thank you to her. She's not here today, unfortunately, but hopefully if she does get the recording of the meeting, we can definitely let her know that she will be missed and that we do appreciate her time on the board. So she has been a huge asset to the COG and the DFW area and nationwide as well. She has served on so many different boards in different capacities and is a wealth of information. So she's going to be a good one to lose. So a good hard one to replace. That's some big shoes there for our Metroplex. So if there's anything else that anyone has that they would like to add to the meeting today that you would like to update the group on, now would be a great time to let us know what you've got going on. I will say, I wanted to add myself, we had one of the governor's small business summits here in Ellis County a few weeks ago. And I just want to say, if you have thought about doing one of those for your community or your county, that we had a great turnout. We had over 200 participants with that. Everyone thought it was just a fantastic program. And a lot of people left with some great contacts, plenty of networking opportunities, and some really good brass tacks information for our local businesses. So just want to put that plug in there, unsolicited. I just, we had such a great time with it and great turnout. So definitely worth your time and effort there. Does anyone have anything else they'd like to add before we
One thing I would say
close down? Sure.
Sandra, on that note, especially for the economic development practitioners on the call, just to, we're going to have to be very creative. The state is in an effort to help a lot of our citizens is in many cases hurting our municipalities and making policies to put in place that will make it a little bit more challenging, but I think a little bit more fun also for a lot of us in our local communities on economic development. There are very few funds, very few other things that are available anymore. The Texas Miracle that we all helped create, I think is being thought of by many of our legislators as something that is just happening because we're Texas and everything else. And keep in mind the importance of everyone on this call and the work that we do. We're going to have to be a little bit more creative, a little bit more collaborative, and a little bit more proactive and not so reliant on the state. Not that we are anyway, but I'd just be very cautious of that and make sure that people are out in front of it rather than following that.
Yeah, it's very good points. Jenny, did you have something that you wanted to add?
I did.
Jenny?
It's my extreme business casual. I'm actually on vacation in Maine, but I wanted to share with everyone that, can you guys hear me okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. November 18th, UT Dallas, we're hosting our annual Economic Development Summit, where we gather economic development leaders, local industry, and academia to talk about how we can drive economic development in North Texas. And this year we have Ray Perryman as our keynote speaker. And so he's going to talk about what we can expect in North Texas and in Texas in general with all the economic uncertainty we've had lately. So I invite everyone to attend that summit, and I'll distribute the information to Prit so she can share with the group as well. But hope to see many of our economic development partners there.
That would be great. Thank you so much for sharing that. And Prit, I'm sure she'll be sending that information out when she sends the recording and the presentations from today. If you can add that information in there. Anything else from anyone else? All righty. Well, I should encourage our board members to reach out to Marianne if you have an opportunity and thank her for her participation on the board again. And then I'm sure Prit will be working with us and we'll be sitting down to try to find someone to fill that space. So with that, our next virtual meeting will be held on November 3rd at 10 a.m. That will be a Monday as usual, be the first Monday of November. So if there's nothing else to add, I'm going to call the meeting at 10:47, and we'll see you in November.